You are sitting next to her. The conversation has slowed down, and the air feels thick with tension. You look at her, and you feel that pull, the desire to move things forward, to bridge the physical gap, to initiate intimacy. But then, that cold knot of anxiety tightens in your chest. You freeze. You start wondering if she feels the same way, or if making a move now will ruin everything and lead to that humiliating moment of her pulling away. This is the precise moment where most men fail. They either act too aggressively and scare her off, or they hesitate too long and land firmly in the friend zone. The reality is, the fear of rejection is what kills the attraction, not the desire itself. But what if I told you that asking for intimacy shouldn't be a verbal question? What if I told you that by the time you actually touch her, she should have already said yes with her eyes and her body language? In this video, we aren't going to talk about pickup lines or manipulative games. We are going to deconstruct the biological and psychological triggers that make a woman crave your touch. I am going to teach you a subtle psychological shift, a method often referred to in dark psychology as plausible deniability, that removes the pressure from her and makes rejection virtually impossible. By the end of this video, you will understand how to communicate desire in a way that makes her pursue you. To understand why you struggle to initiate intimacy, you must first understand the psychological burden you are inadvertently placing on the woman. When a man explicitly asks for permission, when he says things like, "Can I kiss you?" or awkwardly hovers waiting for a sign, he is forcing the woman to take responsibility for the interaction. While modern society tells us that verbal consent for every micro-movement is necessary, biologically, this often kills the spark of polarity. In the realm of attraction, women generally respond to leadership, not bureaucracy. When you ask verbally, you are asking her to step out of her emotional brain and into her logical brain. You are asking her to make a decision, which introduces the fear of judgment. Every woman has a built-in psychological defense mechanism. Evolutionary psychology tells us that for women, intimacy carries a higher biological risk than it does for men. Because of this, she has a natural gatekeeper instinct. If you ask her directly for intimacy before the tension has reached a boiling point, her default answer will almost always be no or not yet. This isn't because she doesn't like you. It is because you have put her on the spot. You have forced her to logically justify something that is supposed to be emotional and spontaneous. You made her feel like she is being pressured rather than seduced. The mistake most men make is thinking that respect means asking for permission for every step. True respect in a romantic context is reading her comfort levels so accurately that you know when to move forward without needing a signed contract. It is about calibration. When you look for a verbal yes, you are often looking for reassurance for your own insecurity. You want her to tell you it's okay because you are afraid to take the risk. Women can smell this fear. It signals a lack of confidence. A Stoic man, a man of high value, does not need her to hold his hand through the seduction process. He creates an environment where intimacy feels like the only natural progression. We need to shift your mindset from asking for something to offering an experience. When you view intimacy as something you are trying to get from her, you come across as needy and predatory. This triggers her defenses. But when you view intimacy as a shared energy that you are inviting her into, the dynamic changes. You are no longer begging, you are leading. This shift effectively eliminates the desperate energy that leads to rejection. Now, let's discuss the core psychological concept that will change how you navigate these interactions forever. It is called plausible deniability. In the context of dark psychology and social dynamics, plausible deniability creates a safety net for both you and the woman. It is the art of making a move that is ambiguous enough that she can ignore it if she isn't interested, but clear enough that she can reciprocate if she is. This removes the harsh sting of rejection and, more importantly, it removes the social pressure for her to reject you to protect her reputation. Women often worry about looking too easy. If you come on too strong, too fast, She has to reject you to maintain her own self-image and social standing, even if she finds you attractive. Plausible deniability gives her an out. It allows her to engage in intimacy without feeling like she explicitly agreed to it right away. It allows the interaction to feel like an accident, a moment of passion, or something that just happened. This is the narrative she wants. She wants to feel swept away, not processed. So how do you apply this? You do it by escalating physically in ways that are not overtly sexual at first, but can easily become sexual. For example, instead of going straight for a kiss or a heavy touch, you use accidental or casual touches. You might touch her arm to emphasize a point while laughing. You might guide her by the small of her back when walking through a door. These actions are ambiguous. If she stiffens up or pulls away, you can simply remove your hand and continue the conversation as if nothing happened. You haven't been rejected because you never technically made a move. You were just emphasizing a point. However, if she leans into that touch, if she smiles, or if she lingers, she is giving you nonverbal permission to proceed. This is the green light. By using plausible deniability, you are constantly testing the waters without risking the ship. You are checking her temperature. If the water is cold, you stay on the shore. If the water is warm, you wade in deeper. This saves you from the embarrassment of a hard no and makes her feel comfortable because she never feels backed into a corner. She feels safe with you because you are proving that you are socially intelligent enough to read her boundaries without her having to verbally enforce them. This creates a feedback loop of trust. As she realizes you are calibrating to her reactions, advancing when she is open and pulling back when she is hesitant, her anxiety drops. When her anxiety drops, her attraction rises. She realizes you are not a threat. You are a man who understands the dance. This is where the dark aspect comes in. You are bypassing her logical defenses and speaking directly to her subconscious desire for safety and leadership. Once you have established physical comfort through plausible deniability, you need to ramp up the tension. Intimacy is born in the silence between words. Most men are terrified of silence. They talk incessantly to fill the void because they are nervous. But a high-value, Stoic man understands the power of the pause. When the conversation hits a lull, do not rush to fill it with a joke or a random question. Instead, hold the silence. Look at her. This creates tension, and tension is the precursor to intimacy. During this silence, you will use a technique known as the triangle gaze. This is a subtle nonverbal cue that signals your intent without saying a word. Look at her left eye, then her right eye, and then drop your gaze down to her lips before returning to her eyes. This movement should take about 2 to 3 seconds. Do not stare at her mouth like a hungry wolf. It must be subtle. This works on a subconscious level. By looking at her lips, you are planting the idea of a kiss in her mind. You are breaking the friendship frame and introducing a sexual frame. Watch her reaction closely. This is the moment of truth. If she looks away nervously, starts fidgeting, or immediately starts talking about a random topic, she is breaking the tension. She is not ready. You should lean back, smile, and restart the conversation on a neutral topic. You have not been rejected. The timing was just off. However, if she holds your gaze, if she mirrors you and looks at your lips, or if she falls silent and her breathing changes, she is waiting for you. She has accepted the sexual frame. This silence coupled with the gaze creates a vacuum. Human nature abhors a vacuum, and she will feel a compulsion to fill it. If she is attracted to you, she will fill it by leaning in or giving you a submissive signal, like tilting her head or exposing her neck. These are primal biological triggers. By not speaking, you are forcing her to feel the weight of the attraction. You are showing her that you are comfortable with the tension. This confidence is incredibly intoxicating to women. It shows that you are grounded, that you are not seeking her validation, but rather offering her a moment of connection. Remember, the goal is to make her wonder, is he going to kiss me? When she is asking herself that question, She is focusing entirely on you and her desire for you. If you were to ask, "Can I kiss you?" you destroy that mystery. You answer the question for her, and the tension evaporates. Let her wonder. Let the anticipation build. Anticipation is a more powerful aphrodisiac than the act itself. You have established contact, you have built tension with silence, and you have signaled intent with your eyes. Now, how do you cross the finish line without rejection? You use the concept of incremental escalation. You never go from 0 to 100. You go from 0 to 10, 10 to 20, and so on. This allows her to acclimate to your proximity. Move into her personal space slowly. This can be done by showing her something on your phone, leaning in to hear her better, or simply shifting your body weight towards her. As you enter her personal bubble, observe her reaction. Does she hold her ground? Does she lean in to meet you? Or does she lean away? If she stays put or leans in, you proceed. If she leans away, you stop and pull back slightly. This pull back is crucial. It shows you respect her boundary, which paradoxically makes her feel safer and often causes her to chase your validation. The final move, the initiation of intimacy, should feel like the inevitable conclusion of the previous 10 minutes. A powerful technique here is to use a verbal bridge that is not a question but a statement of reality. Instead of asking for a kiss, you can say something low and calm like, "You look incredible right now," or "I've been wanting to do this all night." By making a statement, you are owning your desire. You are being congruent. You can also use a physical bridge. Place your hand on the side of her neck or her cheek. This is a very intimate, dominant, yet tender gesture. It is the ultimate test. If you touch her face and she leans into your hand, rejection is off the table. She has already said yes. If she flinches, you simply turn the gesture into something else, like moving a strand of hair behind her ear, and you pull back. You have saved face, and you have gathered information. But let's assume she leans in. You move 90% of the way, and you let her come the final 10%. This is the 90-10 rule from the movie Hitch, but it is based on real psychology. By leaving that last 10% for her to close, you are giving her agency. You are letting her choose to kiss you. When she closes that gap, she is taking ownership of the intimacy. She isn't just letting it happen to her. She is participating in it. This ensures that she won't feel regret later because her brain will record the memory as "I kissed him," not "he kissed me." Once the intimacy has been initiated, your job is not done. The moments immediately following the first kiss or physical escalation are critical for retention and long-term attraction. You must validate her choice. If you act awkward, apologize, or get overly excited like a child who found candy, you will kill the vibe instantly. You must remain stoic and grounded. Look her in the eyes. Smile a genuine, slow smile. Make her feel that what just happened was the most natural thing in the world. This reinforces the frame that you are a man who is used to this, a man who is comfortable with women and intimacy. If you act surprised that she kissed you, she will wonder if she made a mistake. If you act like it was inevitable, she will feel secure in her decision. Remember, the trick isn't a magic spell. It is a combination of social intelligence, reading nonverbal cues, and having the courage to act on them without needing a permission slip. It is about understanding that women desire intimacy just as much as men do, but they need the right environment, one of safety, tension, and plausible deniability, to express it. By removing the fear of judgment and the pressure of verbal contracts, you free her to follow her biological impulses. You stop being the man who gets rejected and start being the man who is invited in. You stop asking and you start leading. This is the way of the high-value man. If you found value in this psychological breakdown, I want you to leave a comment below. Right? I do not ask, I lead. Let that be your mantra moving forward. And if you want to delve deeper into the psychology of attraction, emotional control, and stoic masculinity, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. We are building a tribe of men who understand the world for what it is, not what they wish it to be. Focus on yourself. Read the signs. Lead with confidence.